Hey everyone, Houston Math Prep here. We're doing a follow-up video on solving linear equations. We did a sort of a very basic intro video, so if you haven't seen that yet, or you're still maybe not quite sure about solving linear equations with just some whole numbers in them, go back, check that out first. But this we're kind of doing as a follow-up. If you have problems that have fractions or that have decimals in them, you're needing to solve those by hand and what you can do with those. There are a lot of options that you can do. You're absolutely okay to keep the fractions or the decimals and work the problem the entire, all the way that way. We're going to show you one way that we do that's a little bit different. What you may have seen before with something like this, we have 3/4 x minus 1/3 equals 1/6, would be to get, say, a common denominator and solve that way. So if we were able to get the common denominator, what we would do is we would look at, usually people would use the least common multiple that all of the denominators go into. So 4 and 3 and 6, you would think of the smallest number that all of those go into, and you might come up with 12. So rather than a method of getting the common denominator for every term and working it that way, what we're actually going to do is we're going to multiply the entire equation by that common denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12. The reason we're going to do that is because everything will come out to a whole number. We can work the entire equation the rest of the way without dealing with any fractions at all. Now, if you remember, if you're multiplying fractions by 12, you may think of it as 12 over 1. So that if that gives you an idea of, we're going to be multiplying the top of every fraction by 12, right? Multiplying the bottoms by 1 won't change anything. So if I multiply the 12 times the 3 there, that'll give me 36 over 4x, minus 12 times the 1 would give me 12 over 3, equals, and then the 12 times the 1 there, so we're just again multiplying all the tops by 12, 12 over 6. We can do that because we can multiply any equation by any number except 0 on both sides, and that's a totally okay thing to do. Now, what hopefully you can notice here is that all of these fractions are now just whole numbers if you think of them as division. 36 divided by 4 is 9, so this is 9x, minus 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. And so now what we've basically done is we've arrived at a linear equation with one variable, no fractions in it anymore. You can work it the rest of the way without having to write a bunch of fractions, which may be just cumbersome to simply write. And you don't have to calculate with any fractions the rest of the way. You may have to simplify at the end if your answer is a fraction. So when we're at this step, we would get the x term by itself on the left side, so get rid of the minus 4 by adding 4 to both sides. And then we would have 9x equal to 2 plus 4 would be 6. Getting rid of times 9 with divide by 9, opposite operation there. So we would get x equals 6 over 9, and of course we can see maybe that both of those are divisible by 3, so we should reduce by 3. So if I reduce the top, divide by 3, I would get 2 on the top. If I divide 9 by 3, I get 3. So x equals 2/3 being our answer there. You can see we did get an answer that's a fraction, but we didn't have to do all of our steps along the way with fractions, so that's kind of nice. Let's look at this other one that's very similar. We have 3x plus 1/2 is 5 over 8. So if we were going to look at what is a common denominator for this one, you say, what's the smallest thing that 2 and 8 will both go into? Well, it's actually 8, because 2 will go into 8 itself. So our common denominator is 8. So instead of getting that common denominator of 8, we're going to simply multiply everything by 8, or 8 over 1. That'll give us all whole numbers for everything, just like before. So distributing the 8 times 3 will give you 24x. 8 times the 1 on top, that gives you plus 8 over 2, equals 8 times the 5, however you deal with this is your option. I'll just do the straight multiply here. So 8 times 5 is 40 over 8. And again, now this one didn't start as a fraction to begin with, right? So this 3x it's not a 24 over something, right? It's just plain 24x. So that's already a whole number. We'll go ahead and write it down again. But the rest of these are going to work out nicely, right? So 8 divided by 2 is 4. and 40 divided by 8 is 5. And so we have this nice 24x plus 4 equals 5, no fractions. So now first thing we get our x by itself, get the x term by itself, so we will get rid of the other term. We'll subtract 4 on both sides, of course, and that will give us 24x only. And 5 minus 4 will give us 1. And then we have 24x, so we need to still now divide by 24. So dividing by 24 on both sides gives us 1 over 24. And that is reduced as that one gets. Okay, so then looking at a different thing, not fractions now, but decimals. So here I have a linear equation. It's got one variable x. It's got some decimal terms in it. Similarly to getting rid of the fractions, we can get rid of the decimals. Okay, so the way we would do that is we would count the maximum decimal places anywhere in our equations. You notice all of these have one decimal place, one decimal, one decimal, one decimal. Okay, so you count the max number of decimal places. What you will do is you will multiply by a 1 followed by that many zeros. So a 1 followed by 1 0 would be the number 10. Multiplying by 10 everywhere, if you think about it, is going to move all these decimal places over 1, right? That's what happens when we multiply by 10. The decimal place is going to move over 1. So we're going to multiply by 10. That's going to move all of these over 1 to the right. Okay, so if that happens, you'll notice all the decimals go away. You're left with 4x minus 5 equals 14. And now we can solve this again free of any decimals. We don't have to worry about any sort of weird complication. We just simply now add our 5 and get the 4x term by itself. So we'll have 4x, nothing but 4x over there. 14 plus 5 would be 19. And now get rid of the times 4 with divide by 4. And so this one will get x is 19 over 4. One thing that you may want to check when you're solving a decimal problem, sometimes if the original problem starts with a decimal, then you may want to answer in a decimal, and that may be something that is kind of expected of you. So you may want to, instead of saying x equals 19 over 4, you may want to just do that 19 over 4, maybe in the calculator. You could do it by hand, I guess, if you want. But instead, maybe you say, 4.75 instead of 19 over 4 or something like that. Okay, so we'll kind of leave it up to you and your instructor and whoever else cares about how you answer that. Let's look at one more decimal type problem. Here I have 0.12x plus 0.7 equals 1.03. So you notice the max number of decimals that we have, max number of decimal places. This one has 1, but these both have 2 digits after the decimal. So the max decimal places is 2. So I want to multiply by a 1 followed by 2 zeros because that's the max number of places we have. So I'll be multiplying by 100. Okay, if we multiply by 100, then that's going to move everything over 2 places because of the 2 zeros, right? So this decimal is going to move over 1, 2, and it will now be behind the 2. So that'll be just a 12x. I'm going to jump to the other side. So over here, this one's easy as well because if it moves over 2, it moves over exactly to the end of the number. So I get 103 there. This one, I move 1 place that puts me after the 7, but if I move another place, I'm going to create an empty space between the 7 and the decimal. I can't have that, so I need to fill in a 0 there. So that's going to actually give us 70 if we multiply 0.7 by 100 and move it over 2 places. Again, now we're at our whole number step. Everything is a whole number. We don't have to worry about decimals. We'll get the x term by itself. So let's subtract 70. We should be good to go once we get to this step, I think. So 12x, the 70s, add to 0 there. So we get 103 minus 70. That's going to be 33. And then over here we have divide by 12 to get rid of multiply by 12. And so we'll have x equals 33 over 12. Now I could reduce that, so if we want a fraction answer, then I could say, well, 3 goes into both of these, so I could divide each part by 3. If I divide the top by 3, that's 11. If I divide the bottom by 3, that is 4. So you might say x equals 11 over 4, but again, maybe since this is a decimal problem to start with, then maybe they want you to actually do 11 divided by 4 and say that this is 2.75, which you could do in your calculator, I guess, right? So always check, the instructions for the problem or with your instructor on, what are they expecting as far as form of answer. Hopefully this video gives you an idea of how to clear out fractions from a problem or how to clear out decimals from a problem. And that way you're just working everything in whole numbers like you're used to on the beginner type problems. All right, hopefully this helps you out.